everyone, it's Sydney Monica here, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If this is your first time to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you found any of this information that I'm going to be discussing helpful, please go ahead and comment, like, and share. So if this is your first time to my channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Sydney. I'm a board certified adult gerontology nurse practitioner with my doctorate's degree. And on this channel, we talk about everything nursing, lifestyle, and finance. So if these are some of the topics that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So today we're going to be talking about the difference between DNP and NP. I had somebody comment down below saying they're interested in furthering their education past their bachelor's degree, but they were uncertain whether they should get a nurse practitioner or a doctorate's degree. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between NP and DNP. And a lot of people do not know the difference between the two. So I'll go in depth and explain what is an NP, what's a DNP. I'm going to explain the route of education, how long is the education to obtain either degree, the different types of NPs that you can pursue your degree in, the salary of an NP, and if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll be explaining the reason why I chose to specialize in adult gerontology and how that's going for me thus far. So let's get right into it. A nurse practitioner is a registered nurse that decides to go back to school to get a higher degree, right? They complete clinical hours and didactic classroom work, and they earn the title of nurse practitioner. It's a title, right? Versus a doctorate of nursing practice, a DNP is a nurse who got their master's, a nurse practitioner, and decides to go back to school to earn their doctorates, which is a higher degree. So a NP is a certification, while a DNP is a degree. It's almost as if I could give you an example between LPN and RN. They're both nurses and they do a lot of the same things, but with the LPN, it's a certification, okay? And when you're a RN, you have a degree, either an associate or a bachelor's degree. So that's the best way I can explain. If we want to go get more in depth into the difference, like a DNP prepared nurse practitioner is prepared to work in a variety of different settings that a nurse that has their master's cannot. For instance, a DNP, they can work in administrative roles. They can work in higher education and teaching. They can influence health policies, whereas a nurse practitioner cannot do those things with their degree. They can do a lot of the same work as far as like working clinical wise with patients, working, you know, acute care in the hospital and primary care settings. But as far as like a higher level of work, that's where the DNP comes in. Those are the two difference. One is a title and the other one is a higher degree. It's like the pinnacle of nursing. It's the highest degree that you can achieve in nursing. So it's a big difference. Let's get into the education, right? To get your nurse practitioner's degree, a MSN, I've done research in a couple schools. It could vary, but the time frame is usually pretty much the same for most schools. Nurse practitioner, it would take about 2.5 years, 2 to 2.5 years to get that MSN degree. If you are a nurse practitioner with your master's already and you wanted to go for the doctorate's degree, that would be an additional 2 years, okay? But they also have a program where it's a bridge from your bachelor's to your doctorates. It's 3.5 years at some schools. Not every school offers it. The one that I attended did offer it, and that's the route that I chose, where I entered with my bachelor's degree, and along the way I got my master's and I completed it with my doctorate's degree. So that was 3.5 years. So it's 2 to 2.5 years for the master's, and if you wanted to get the doctorates after receiving a master's, that's another 2 years. And if you wanted to jump straight from bachelor's all the way to doctorates, that would be a total of 3.5 years. So if you would look at it, the quickest option if you wanted to get your DNP would be to do a bridge program versus like getting your master's and then going back to school, because it's like you would spend an extra year in school like doing it separate. So when it comes to deciding like what's the best route for you, whether you want to do NP versus DNP, there's a couple things that you have to think about. And the first is, how long do you want to be in school? What is the amount of time that you're comfortable investing in your school? You know, I chose to do the doctorates because I knew, you know, if I can just sit and just do the entire 3.5 years and be done, I'll rather do that. So, you know, if you just want to have that higher degree, be a practitioner, but you can't invest too much time in school, then maybe MSN would be a better route for you, and you're not interested in like doing administrative roles and teaching at a university or like influencing health policies, then MSN could be a good route for you. Also, you have to look at the cost, because if you enter an MSN program, that's a certain cost, and then you wanted to go back to get the doctorates, that's going to be another cost, versus if you do it combined, it could be more affordable. So that's another thing you have to think about, as well as what is your end goal. Like I said before, do you plan to work where you run an entire hospital, where you want to be a professor at a university, or do you want to sit in a board committee and influence health policies? So these are the 3 things that you should think about when you're trying to decide whether you want MSN or DNP. So when you're a nurse practitioner, there is a variety of different specialties that you can choose to get your degree in. We can go down and break it into the different types of nurse practitioners. There is a wide list of a variety of different ones. So off the top of my head, there could be more. I'm just gonna name some that I can remember. There's of course adult gerontology, there is psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, there's family nurse practitioner, there's neonatal nurse practitioner, there's oncology nurse practitioner. You can be a certified midwife, you can be a certified nurse anesthesiologist. So there's a wide list of different routes that you can take if you decide to do your nurse practitioner degree. So let's get into the fun part. So once you finish the degree, you're wondering like, what is the average salary, you know, of a nurse practitioner? Well, I went on the BLS website, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which gives you the national average for the salary and annual wages for the different types of nurse practitioner. So let me take a look. So for nurse practitioner, which they grouped it all in one, which means family, adult, psych, oncology, all of the ones I mentioned is grouped under nurse practitioner, because those are different kinds of nurse practitioner. So that average salary, and this was back in May of 2021, they update their website every couple months, every few months. So this is roughly like accurate as to what it is right now. So for all the ones I've mentioned, the average annual salary is $123,000. So that means half of the people in that specialty earns less than that, and half of the people in that specialty earns more than that. This is the average. So this is not cutthroat, like this is the exact number. It can be more and it can be less, of course, based on experience, based on the specialty, based on the different state that you live in. For nurse anesthetists, the average salary is $195,000. Nurse practitioners, family adult, is $120,000, and for nurse midwife, it ranges around $112,000 average. All of these are very great salary for average, you know, for the average amount that you would make. It could be more, it could be less, but you're definitely in the 6 figures. So right out of school, like, you know, this is definitely a great salary. So I'll go into detail into why I chose to get my degree in adult gerontology. And I chose this because throughout my nursing career as a LPN and as a RN, I mostly work with the older population. Like when I did home health, I would go to the geriatric home. Well, first let me start off. I was a CNA before anything, and I used to do home health as a CNA where I cared for the elderly patients, helped them with ADLs, or sometimes I would drive them to like any appointments they had. So I really enjoyed that. You know, I love taking care of the older people. And then I got my LPN and I continued in home health where I would go to like the older people's home that needed help, like doing wound care, dressing changes, like one-to-one in their home. Once I became a RN, I entered the hospital setting. I started working on a med-surg telemetry floor, and most of the patients on that floor are older adults, adults with heart issues, adults with a wide variety of different illnesses. So I never really got to work with the pediatric population. So I said, if I'm gonna advance my career and get my master's, I mean, it would only make sense for me to like specialize in the population that I feel most comfortable with and that I spent like a majority of my career working with. I love that I chose that specialty, and not a lot of people go for adult gerontology. Like, I believe I was doing some research and the statistics say 88% of students choose the FNP route, family nurse practice, where they are broad, they specialize from pediatric all the way to adults. So I feel kind of special that I chose AGNP. There's not a lot of us out there, and I feel like the job outlook is definitely on the rise for AGNPs because people are living longer, they're staying healthy, so there's going to be a need for AGNPs. Now there's a need for them, and there's going to continue to be a need for them in the future. So I was looking at the bigger picture and also like my experience as well. So that's why I chose AGNP. If you guys are interested in getting your master's degree or your doctorate's degree and you are unsure of which route that you want to take, I do provide one-to-one coaching sessions where we could sit down and talk about in detail what is it that you want to do, what is your goals, what's your aspiration, what is the end goal within your education, because you don't want to sit down and pay so much money for school, go through all the schooling and not know where you want to be. It's great to have a mentor and somebody that's been there to guide you through it. So I'll definitely link my email down below. And also in my previous video, which I'll link right above, I talked about the process of becoming a DNP. Was it worth it, and what is the job outlook? So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and click that video above. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share if you found any of this information to be helpful. And I'll see you guys next time.